You have to answer for Santino, Carlo.
Welcome to Something Crunchy, the Valley's #1 comedy entertainment podcast. Biscuit is homies with Blake. Blake is the older brother of Blair, and Blair is married to Biscuit. Here are your hosts, Colin Blake with Blair and Tyler Dressel. All right. Welcome to Something Crunchy. I'm Colin Blake. With me, as always, Blair and Tyler Dressel. Thank you for joining us by way of 97.3 The Rattler, or wherever you get your podcast. We have another crunchy guest joining us tonight. He's an actor, singer, best-selling author, and host of the Hollywood Godfather podcast. You've seen him in movies like Any Given Sunday, Super Mario Brothers, Seabiscuit, and of course, you know him best for playing Carlo Rizzi in The Godfather. Please welcome Gianni Russo.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Russo. Excited to have you on. How are you, sir?
I'm really good. I mean, thank you. And, I love, I think you're coming from Arizona, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're in the Phoenix area here.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends and family down there.
Oh, yeah? You come here often?
I used to come more often. I'm just so buried now. I'm primarily staying on the East Coast and in Europe.
You're a busy guy. 2024, starting the year off right, talking to the Podfather. Any bold predictions for this year?
Well, I just hope that, we get straightened out fast because we're losing a lot of respect throughout the world, unfortunately.
Well,
talking about,
Well, let's start with some Godfather. What are the questions you get most often about playing Carlo?
Basically, how did I get it? Because I wasn't an actor.
That was your first role?
That was my first role. Never acted before, never stood in front of a camera before.
Wow.
And I always wanted to be an actor. So I said, this is my shot. But me, not like other people, I had a good bankroll. So I shot a screen test for Sonny, screen test for Michael and for Carlo. Submitted it to Paramount. And then they gave me the bad news a few weeks later saying, we're sorry we misled you with the article, but we're really using actors. And then I heard about all the problems I had with Joe Colombo in New York and the mob, and I just happen to know a few people in the mob. And I flew to New York and talked to Joe Colombo, arranged a meeting at the Gulf and Western building, and now it's history.
Now it's history.
Gosh.
People still talking about it today, especially all that with Joe Colombo. Did you see this show about a year or two ago called The Offer, about the making of The Godfather?
Oh, did I ever?
I think it followed Albert Ruddy, but there was a memorable part about you and your character. Was there any validity to this?
No, and I can't even talk about it because if you watch The Offer now, all the scenes that I'm in, there is a disclaimer at the end of them, and it says the part of Gianni Russo has been fictionalized.
Wow. I mean, I was buying it until I saw that scene again, watching The Godfather, and that did not pass the smell test at all.
No. I don't know what Al Ruddy must have got up that morning at 93, and it was all me. I did this, I did that, I did this. And the one good thing I was told by so many people, he was like a womanizer. The guy's a mooch. He was, nobody will go with the guy. Forget about it.
Now, playing one in movies is one thing, but having ties to the mob in real life is another. You worked for Frank Costello once upon a time, boss of the Luciano crime family.
Guy raised me. I'm calling you from his apartment right now in New York. He left it to me.
You're kidding.
No.
Wow.
I'm still here. I walked in here when I was 14. Now I was 81 on December 12th. So do the math. I'm still here.
Man,
it's amazing.
It's so hard to find good jobs like that these days.
Kidding. I can't even get like an annual raise.
Well, I'll tell you right now, to have a mentor like him, after what I went through in the polio ward for 6 years, and when I finally got out, I was selling ballpoint pens on the streets of New York. They were just invented, so you didn't need inkwells anymore. And here I am now, thank God what he's taught me through the years and all his friends and colleagues. It's been a great lesson in life.
I can imagine.
You read my book?
I've read parts of the book and have seen a lot of the clips covering it on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that book, I think every human being in the world has a doubt of who they are and what should read this book to be inspired. And the last sentence in the book is, yes, you can. Because if I could do it, anybody could do it. I became a multi-million-dollar guy with no education.
You don't think luck had anything to do with it at all, huh?
Luck is you get a rabbit's foot for luck. You better know what you're doing.
You're lucky to be alive. You've been shot 6 times at close range.
Hello, I had my throat slit by Pablo Escobar too. What does that mean?
Someone's looking out for you.
That's funny.
You've been quite lucky in several circumstances. So, Mr. Russo, when I lost my virginity, it was in the side yard of our house, rolling around in the grass for 42 seconds with a girl who just moved to town. No one is adapting it into a screenplay soon, but I understand you have quite the story.
My situation was, again, that wasn't luck. I was working, and Costello was hiding Marlyn Monroe out at the Waldorf, and I'm a 16-year-old kid. I saw Some Like It Hot 10 times. I was masturbating in the balconies of Paramount Pictures.
Yes.
And now I'm being invited into a hotel room. What do you think was going to happen?
Oh my gosh.
I think there's a term for that. It's getting lucky. It's coming to me. So you're washing her hair at 16, and that's what led to this whole chain reaction.
For your audience, to if you visualize a shampoo basin, all of us have been in them, either in a barbershop or a salon. If you picture her laying back in a shampoo basin, my 3-piece set was on her shoulders. Starting to moan. What do you think is going to happen to a 16-year-old kid?
It's a very natural reaction.
Oh my God, Gianni.
I'm sorry to talk like this to you, darling. But...
No, I am here for it. I am here for all of it. I'm so impressed with you. Like, how did you pull this off?
Yeah. Did she make the first move, or did you?
No, I mean, she was the aggressor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to know her through the last 4 years of her life. She had such a low esteem of herself. That's all she thought she had to offer people was her body. And as I went through life in the movie careers, I like with Tony Curtis, we did Leppy together. He slept with her. Sinatra slept with her. Marlon Brando slept with her. That's all. I mean, again, I feel sorry for her. I did then. I do now yet. Nobody realized who this lady was. And the Xanax were taking advantage of her and selling her as a sex symbol. And that's the last thing she wanted to be. And, she was abused early on in life. And all she had was her body she thought to offer, even as a friendship, not in a sexual thing. But listen, it's that's a very sensitive story to me because I got to know her too well. I was with her the last 3 days before they killed her.
What?
I did read that part in the book. And you maintain she was assassinated by Bobby Kennedy. Is that right?
Yeah, it was, man. And how, you know what I said? Even my publishers, anybody who's astute enough to know publishing, a publisher like St. Martin's Press is not going to allow you to write that if they couldn't vet it and find some validity of it.
Yeah.
Because of the fact they'd be sued.
Yeah.
I wrote this book 5 years ago. I still haven't been sued.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And now Netflix came out with a series this year confirming exactly what I said 5 years ago.
That gave some validity to that. And now it was just announced recently by the government that there is, in fact, a second shooter involved in the JFK assassination. Not only does this support your story, but you have all kinds of insight into what happened here too, right?
Well, the bottom line is that they're going to find out there was 5 shooters.
Oh, my God.
Eventually, because every family wanted them dead. The deal was made at the Waldorf Astoria in 1959, when Joe Kennedy came to see Frank Costello, who were old friends during Prohibition. They both amassed 30, 40 million each during Prohibition.
Oh.
And he came and said, Frank, I want my son to become president. At the time, he was a senator, John Kennedy. And he said, I need all your pull with the unions, the mafia, and your high-powered friends. And Costello said, what do we get? He's, well, the first thing, if my son becomes president, they will invade Cuba and give you casinos back.
Wow.
That was the deal.
Wow.
This is a history lesson.
Man.
There's a book coming out called The Son They Never Had. It's a monster book. I've been writing it. And it's Loretta and Frank Costello never had children. I was with them for 20-something years and traveled the world, made a lot of money, and experienced so many things with history and the Vatican and the mafia. And, well, I don't know if you read to the book where the IRS is still trying to figure out where the over $600 million went that I took out of Vegas.
Still looking for it, huh?
I keep looking.
How is your life not a movie already?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Because I'm being very particular.
That's good.
That's
That's
it
good.
is good though.
This is wild, though. Let me tell you. So Marlyn Monroe taught you how to bone. Marlon Brando taught you how to act, and Frank Sinatra taught you how to sing. Am I getting this right?
You got that right.
Wow.
I'm blushing over here. Like I wish.
So you were friends with both Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. Who was better with the ladies? Like, if you had to choose one wingman for the night.
Well, I mean, two different categories. I was privileged and invited in December of '61 by Meyer Lansky to go down to the Fontainebleau Hotel because he actually owned it, not Ben Novak. And they were shooting the special for NBC hosted by Frank Sinatra, welcoming Elvis back into civilization as far as being a citizen, not an army guy. And Sinatra didn't like Elvis at all. But once they started working together, I was there and watched it develop. He fell in love with the guy. But, you to do a comparison, I could tell you 10 guys that are all different. Bill Clinton, I never met him.
You hung out with Bill Clinton. He's got to be in the list.
He is.
He is.
It'd be more surprising to hear, I guess, who didn't really fit that mold.
Well, there's a lot of them guys.
No game.
Well, what's your favorite Elvis story?
Oh, Elvis! I love Elvis. I got so mad at the Memphis Mafia guys. They're the ones that killed him. He had 11 prescriptions under their names. I can't believe they're supposed to be his friend. He could have lived another 10, 20 years. And they watched him do what he did, man. And they killed him.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It's, when you read about my life, I've had a lot of tremendous experiences. Yeah, I've been privileged, man. And still am. It's wild what's going on in my life right now. I mean, just this week alone, and I'm a nobody guy. Last night, I was invited by a major clothing guy, and I like his name. Is Giorgio Armani. Yesterday I had a luncheon.
Oh,
I've heard of him.
God. Yeah, I think we know who that is.
And he had a lunch of about 40 people for Andrea Bocelli and his wife.
What a table.
I was there. Last week I was with Connell Dolan. I mean, the company I keep is ridiculous.
That is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, you've got a fun circle.
Oh, yeah. It gets exhausting after a while, but it's been a lot of fun. My kids say to me, when are you going to stop? Why would I want to stop?
No, never stop.
Never.
In the 80s, I got the energy and I got the health, fortunately. I'm going to keep going.
Well, some of these stories are just beyond belief and are definitely screen ready. With your permission, I want to bring up what happened in Las Vegas in 1988. Now, there's the story, and then there's what happens after the story, which might be one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Why don't you start with a summary of what happened at the nightclub?
Are you talking about October 28th? That's the date.
That's the date.
Wow.
Those kind of situations you never forget when it happened. And it's funny, because I don't know, you know a guy called Steve Sharippa from The Sopranos and now Blue Blood fame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Steve was my doorman at the time. He was going to the University of Nevada, becoming a hotelier guy. And I hired a lot of those kids to be on the door at State Street. And for your audience that don't know about State Street was a nightclub I opened. And I had 3 friends of mine open it for the weekend, D. Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and Frank Sinatra, that charged me nothing.
Oh.
This was in 1980.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And it became an overnight success. I operated 12 hours a day and had casinos, dining room, nightclub, everything in it. And then one night, this guy came in. And we've seen this 100 times. People coming in and handing everybody $100 bills. I figured he's a big player from someplace. I served gourmet food from 6 at night to 6 in the morning, which was unique in Vegas. Of course, after midnight, mostly only in coffee shops. And I wanted to go add that extra taste to it. And with that, I drew a lot of high rollers. And this guy came in. I didn't know who he was. So I called the front door. I said, Steve, who's the guy on 7? Because he was giving $100 bills to everybody. He said, I don't know, boss. He came in from Caesars. He sees his guest. I said, Caesar's picking up his check. They said, yep. And so I sent over a bottle of Louis XIII, a bottle of Cristal, Beluga Caviar. I hit him up with $1,800 in about 5 minutes. Because he wasn't paying. Who cares? We'd send it over with my driver and pick up the money. The next few minutes, maybe not even 10, he gets the Cristal bottle, breaks the bottle, and sticks it in his date's face.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
And thank God he missed her eye. He circled her eye, fortunately. So I called Steve up. I said, Steve, get to 7. Look what's going on. He said, I ain't going over there, boss. That guy's nuts. I said, what do you think I hired you for, you schmuck? Get over there.
This is your moment.
Yeah. So I went over, and I just wanted to let the guy, I wanted to diffuse it. I said, listen, you hear those sirens? They're coming here. Go out the back door. I didn't need any trouble, nor do you. I got to get the girl in the hospital. He said, no, man. I said, no, man. Where the hell are you from? He said, you don't want to know. And I didn't know he had the bottle in his hand yet. So he goes to turn like he's going to get the girl just to fake me out. He spins around and slits my throat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I was agile enough. I went back, and the bottle caught me all along my jawline.
Oh.
81 stitches.
Damn.
How am I going to get this guy to calm down? So I looked at him, and he sees the blood. And I said, look what you did to my shirt.
That's what you
I waited
said.
6
Oh my
So
god.
gangster.
I know.
I waited 6 months for the shirt. Sea Island cotton. You ruined the shirt, you idiot. Well, I just needed to get, my hand on my gun. And I didn't want him to notice that. So it worked. So I got my gun and I pulled it right to his head. I said, now I'll tell you to give you the option again. Walk out the door, or you're going out in a body bag. And he said, F you. I said, oh no. I put 2 right between his eyes. 150 people in my club were looking at me. The guy looked at me like he got bit by a mosquito in his forehead. And I'm watching the blood run down his face. He was so high on coke. That's why when you see in the movie they shoot you behind the head, that closes you down right away. So with that, I put 3 more in his chest. And then he dies, and everybody comes, the cops, everybody comes to the place, and we get Lower Manus, the girl he stabbed, to the hospital, and only to find out the next morning he was Pablo Escobar's left-hand man, right-hand man. And Lorenzo Morales.
Oh my God.
Can't write this.
Wow, No.
So he didn't know who you were, and you didn't know who he was, and this is
Nope.
where it gets really interesting.
So now I go fly to New York to a guy who was really not my friend, John Gotti, who just became the boss in New York. And he's teasing me, oh, now you're killing people because it's all over the news. I said, John, you don't understand what went on. And he saw that my chin and neck were all taped up. I said, the only reason I'm here, I want to go see Pablo Escobar. He said, what do you want? I said, I want to go see Pablo Escobar. He said, you're going to go down to Bogota. I said, I got to. He said, I'm going to buy you the ticket. He bought me a first-class ticket to go see him. Figured he'd never see me again.
Oh.
And then I went down there, and that's history in itself. That I'm here to talk about it. And Pablo Escobar, I mean, they had their way with me for a while. And then he realized who I was, which is really a funny part of the story.
That's the funny part of the story.
Well, I was 3 floors down in the prison that he built for himself in Bogota. That was the deal he made with the government. And I'm shackled to a chair in the nude, body bags all around me. The stench down there was ridiculous. And this guy comes walking in. I didn't even realize it was him. Cleanly dressed, no fatigues on. And he's got a book in his hand. And I think I'm hallucinating. And I'm recognizing the book was The Making of the Godfather. And he says, why didn't you tell me you were Carlo in The Godfather? That's my favorite movie. And he tells his guys, come up and bring him up to the house. Now I'm sitting in his dining room. And he said to me, why did you come here? I said, well, I did my homework. I said, you have a daughter, Gina, and I got a daughter, Gia. They're the same age. And I know Lorenzo was Morelito. And I know they avenged their deaths by killing my dogs, pets, cats, kids, then me last. As I'm not going to let that happen. That's why I'm here. If someone's going to kill your daughter, what would you have done? And he got up, he walked down to me at the table. He stand up. I didn't know if he was cut my head off. I stood up, he hugged and kissed me. He said, they don't make men like us. He's out, straighten us out. Don't worry about it. I said, well, thank you. He said, I want you to do me a favor. This is a classic story. I said, whatever you want me to do, Pablo. You want me to cut the grass? You want me to wash the windows? No, I'm kidding. He said, no, I want to do the closing scene in The Godfather. I said, what scene? He said, when Michael comes to see you. And I say to myself, oh, this is how this guy's going to kill me. So now he says, come up here. And I sat at the end of the table where he was sitting, which is closest to the door. And I said, you need me to write the lines? He said, no, I know all the lines. And I'm saying, what? So now he stands up, goes to the door with a couple of people like Michael did, and they walk in. And he starts the scene saying, Carlo today answered for Santini. You think this farce you played on my sister could fool the court? What the whole scene he did. And we're going through it. He gives me the airline ticket, everything else. And I'm saying, this is how the guy's going to kill me. He walks me out to the car. They open the front door. Instead of Clemenza in the back seat, there's 3 of the guys that were down in the basement. As soon as I sit in the car, they said, hello, Carlo. And they bust out laughing.
They even said the line when you got in the car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God, that is terrifying.
No kidding.
Yeah, how did you keep it together?
Oh, man. So your heart's pounding.
Well, I didn't. Not my choice. I figure either I'm going to die or I'm going to get out of here. He kissed me, get out of here, and that's it.
Did you ever see him after that?
No. What happened was, as soon as I landed in Florida, the DEA boarded the plane. And they called out my name, and I said, oh, here we go again. and they put me on a plane. They fly me to Washington, and they wanted to know why I was with John Gotti in New York. Why is it with Pablo Escobar? And flying back. They didn't even realize what happened in my club in Vegas.
Like, who are you?
Wow.
So I told them on the plane. And they, radioed ahead, found out it was all true. And the rest is history. And then they came down on him, because as we saw now, there's so many things about Escobar. They were ready to take him down. And we all saw that.
Yeah.
So
Gianni, that's wild. That is beyond wild.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
I mean...
No, that's why now I'm talking to guys like Terrence Winter, who did Boardwalk Empire.
Right, and you should.
They're all saying, it should be a 6-hour miniseries. And I want the story told right.
Yes.
And I've been told by even George Gallo, major guys, that there's too much in this for an hour and 40-minute movie.
No, the miniseries idea is good.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. And I want to see, I don't need any money, fortunately. I live too well without it. But so I'm just having fun. I got a deal on 4 more books from Kensington Press, which is one of the better press in the world.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah. So the next book will be This Son He Never Had. And I'm almost done with that now.
Wow.
And I'm writing best-selling books. My first book is still a bestseller on Amazon. Hollywood Godfathers, 5 years a bestseller.
Isn't it a bestseller in 7 different countries?
Yeah, 73.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Oh,
good for you.
Yes.
How long have you been doing what you're doing with your podcast?
We're about to start. We're in our 5th year.
Wow.
Yeah, just starting our 5th year.
Great.
Yeah.
Are you getting great results from it?
We are starting to see, we're just starting here recently, starting to get a lot bigger results.
Good.
Starting to make some moves here as well. Yes, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, let's move on to what we call the Fast Five, where we give you 5 general questions and you answer as quickly as you can. Here's a good one for you. Favorite car that you've owned?
I just sold 40 of them.
Do you have a favorite?
Of the 40?
No, the one car I really enjoyed that I got, I lent Steve McQueen $16,000 on a car, and he never paid me back. And I kept the car forever. It was a Gold Wing. And Jerry Seinfeld offered me $600,000 for it, and I turned that down.
Wow.
Holy cow.
I just made a package deal. I had a house in Mexico. I wasn't going to it anymore because Chopper Guzman and all these guys are getting too crazy. And so I sold the house with the cars, and the guy gave me $6 million for everything.
That's amazing. All right, what about favorite movie that you were not in?
Oh, man, my favorite movie I was not in is On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
How about a food you won't eat under any circumstance?
There's a lot of them, man.
You're a picky eater, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm a very healthy eater also.
Really?
Yeah, I don't eat liver. I don't eat organs. I think nobody should.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to
I'm
stay
with
away
you.
from the organs. That's not meat. Who made better music, Elvis or Sinatra?
Again, 2 different categories. I would say Sinatra no matter what, because he spanned and still spanning 8 generations.
Yeah, good answer. Okay. Well, Mr. Russo, we like to play a game on every episode and include our guest as well. Because we had to squeeze what should be a 10-hour interview into under an hour, we are going to play a quick round of true or false to touch on what we couldn't get into to show why everyone needs to read your book, Hollywood Godfather, My Life in the Movies and the Mob, a bestseller in 7 countries and available on Amazon.com. Mr. Russo, all you have to say is true or false.
Go ahead.
You're the official brand ambassador for the Corleone Family Food Company.
True.
True. After losing your virginity to Marlyn Monroe, that earned you a 3-way with Raquel Welch and Sophia Loren.
No.
No, that's false. Okay. You once shot up a hotel room with Elvis Presley after watching cowboy movies all night together.
True.
What?
Suite 3000 to be exact at the Hilton Hotel.
Wow. You killed a pedophile when you were 12 years old who attacked you in a hospital by way of a broken broom handle through the chest.
I drove it through his back.
Oh, okay, so false. It was through the back.
Yeah. Trick question.
You know how Jimmy Hoffa was killed?
True.
What?
You single-handedly invaded Germany and defeated the Nazis.
No. False.
Bill Clinton used to give you the task of taking home the ladies he'd provide on a list after events.
Very true.
All right.
And last one, you've never been arrested, had handcuffs on, or spent a single night in jail.
Exactly right.
Wow, Gianni.
Yeah. 23 federal indictments, 3 murder ones, and numerous other things. Never arrested, never put in jail, never put in a cell, or had handcuffs on.
It's amazing.
I'm fascinated. I'm just fascinated. I need this book right this second, by the way.
We need the Netflix series.
No
I
kidding.
know. I need all of it.
The 10 episode. I mean, and there's such an appetite for it. You have the thing that just came out on Netflix on John Gotti. You know, last year or 2 years ago, you had the Albert Ruddy deal with Miles Teller on, you know, The Godfather. There's such an appetite for this stuff.
Yeah.
Your story is just
Unbelievable.
You have endless stories.
What happened? They came to me. Fox came to me. I'm doing one on Frank Costello. Now they're asking me to do one on Sinatra. And there's a book out right now that unbeknownst to me, I'm in, called The Tailor. And AMC, the AMC is doing 4-part that I'm in, and I'm all through it. I didn't realize A.J. Pratt, where he went in his life, but I basically sponsored him, and he became one of the biggest heroin dealers in the world.
What, so are you mentioned by name? Like, don't they need your permission
By
to
name.
do that?
Well, there's no license if it's true.
Yeah.
They will keep the name. I'm a public figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit happens. There's
Damn.
overlay.
No, we're going to go play golf.
Tell us more about the Corleone family food company.
Well, that's a passion with me because, number one, no one was taking advantage of this brand. And so I saw an opportunity, and some associates and we own Genco olive oil throughout the world. In fact, Godfather 2 will be 50 years old this year coming. And Genco olive oil, the big can, you'll remember it when De Niro went and visited Don Cheech over there to give the can out of respect, but he used it to avenge his father's death. So that can, I can't produce enough of that for next year. I'll be on QVC with that the second quarter of 24. And I got 12 new products. I came up with all the new food products for the family. I got Fredo's Alfredo sauce. I got Sunny Spicy and Hot Arrabbiato sauce.
Fitting.
So 6 sauces coming out. And then Paramount said to me, why don't you do one for yourself? And I said, what the hell? I don't know what I'm going to do. So I come up with Connie and Carlo's wedding soup.
I like that you included Connie as well.
So that's all, you know, things like that I have fun with.
Well, that's going to
I have a
fly on
clothing-
QVC.
I have a clothing line you're not going to believe. If you go to La Cosa Mia, because I like keeping it in the same genre,
Oh.
it's La Cosa Mia by Gianni.
It's a great name.
So
That's
I
what kind of clothes?
I mean, go online. You'll see I designed them all. I got my own shirt line. They're all unique and very affordable.
Did your friend Armani have any
Yeah, did he have any
influence at
input?
all?
Because yesterday I wore my new jacket to his place on Madison Avenue, and everybody was raving over it. They thought it was his, and I opened the inside to show them the label. They couldn't believe it.
Ooh.
Because people don't know. They didn't know I'm in the clothing business. I'm no threat to him, believe me.
Well, not yet.
Yeah. There's a collab
Well-
there just waiting to happen.
It's a matter of taste.
It's a matter of taste. Like the new endeavors, and that's great. I appreciate the info. I sincerely appreciate your time and you doing this, Mr. Russo. You are just one fascinating guy. And also, don't forget to check out Gianni Russo on his podcast, Hollywood Godfather. And if you want more stories from Something Crunchy's new head of security, you should read his new book, Hollywood Godfather, My Life in the Movies and the Mob. It's available on Amazon.com, or you can find those links and more at GianniRusso.com.
You forgot one thing.
What's that?
The Robb Report this year, November 22nd, picked my vodka, Don Corleone, as the best vodka in the world.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big deal right there. We're big on the vodka. That's great. Don Corleone vodka, -- in the world.
Getting that on our shelf.
Well, thank you for this whole publicity thing I just got.
That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Thank you for your stories and for the time. This was very memorable.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'll never forget today.
Anytime.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Russo. Have a good holiday season, okay?
And all your listeners out there, have a great holiday. God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Holy shit.
Wow.
All right. So, if even half of his stories are true, he may very well be the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, if that's not, then I don't know. I mean, he's connected with every possible person.
I'm going to be looking over my shoulder for like the next 2 months. Just
No,
like, who
that's
knows?
a circle you want to be in. He's got some friends.
I know too much.
So he wanted to believe luck had nothing to do with it, and I have something to say on the subject. 28 indictments, federal
I was
indictments.
going to say, there was 10 other times I was like, and you don't think that...
Most people that can say that they shot a man twice in between the eyes and 3 more times in the chest in front of 150 people in the middle of a Las Vegas nightclub aren't outside of prison to talk about it.
Never.
And he didn't even see
I know where he's coming
inside
from.
a jail cell or anything.
I see where he's coming from. He doesn't consider himself lucky because he put himself in the position to be lucky,
Yeah.
not that he has to be a lucky person.
You don't put yourself in the position to lose your virginity to Marlyn Monroe.
You sure
that
do.
happens to you. He was, by circumstance, working in the salon, her chair. That's lucky.
Serendipitous,
There's
maybe?
there's a term for this.
You didn't know she was going to be there, work your way in, and make sure that you did what you had to be in that chair. She ended up in the chair.
All that with
By
Pablo
circumstance.
Escobar, you're not lucky that he just had he kissed you and hugged you instead of
He was kidnapped by Pablo Escobar. Escobar had a hit out on him, and he decided to go there, face him himself, because I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go and try
this
and
is
clear
what
this out.
Ozarks is trying to do. Ozarks is
Ozark was the fictional version
Bateman
of this.
trying
Yeah.
to do that. He's like, no, I'm just going to be that
No,
guy.
it's
And
a
that's
combination of American Made with Tom Cruise, Blow with Johnny Depp, Ozark with Jason Bateman.
Uh-huh.
And almost famous. Just like a guy on the side that happens to run in the same circle.
It's just hard to believe. He had connections to the JFK assassination.
How does he know there's 5?
5 shooters. So interesting. That's information too. That's
And he wasn't a part of it specifically, but he details in his book that he was given instructions by Costello to go give a bag of money to somebody. And because of even just that much involvement, he had to go on the lam and leave the country for 2 years after the assassination took place.
wow. Disappear.
He was in Dallas for that.
Wow.
So he knows about it. And those were some bold claims. Marilyn
And about the
Monroe
whole the
assassinated.
presidency
Elvis
of,
Presley assassinated.
You do XYZ, we'll make sure this happens when he becomes president.
Went and chased tail with Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and Bill Clinton. This is more in Forrest Gump, where he just kind of by circumstance happens to be around every historical
exactly.
event.
And that's
Yeah.
so fake.
Yeah.
And then it's this is an actual rendition of that.
He was at the hotel across the street
Yeah,
during Watergate.
exactly. Calls it in.
Yeah.
Low key and part of every
I think the
single
power's out
major
across the
scene.
street.
Just, this kind of reminds me of that. So one, it's not a movie. He's right. We couldn't even do it
No.
in an hour podcast.
This is a 5-season Netflix,
It's a deep dive.
10 episodes, hour piece.
I can't wait because he will make sure it gets done right, and it does need to. With this amount of information,
Yeah.
each one of these segments is such a full breakdown.
Is a season. You can squeeze this out into a season, each story.
That's amazing.
We didn't even get to bring up any given Sunday with Al Pacino, Seabiscuit.
Wow.
We were talking
Super
Pablo
Mario Brothers.
Escobar.
Call him back.
Yeah,
He's still
Call
we'll
him
we'll
back.
get to that.
Could you tell us about Super Mario Brothers real
Yeah.
quick? Forgot to ask you about the Goombas.
Goombas, let's say. Speaking of Goombas, on a scale from Escobar to Goomba, what would you say was your experience with Marilyn?
Was it the Bombs? It got her. It got her.
Here it
She
comes.
liked it.
Here it comes.
She liked it.
Here it comes.
Always when I take a sip.
Oh man, do you know how hard it is to segue from a murder story into something more lighthearted and crunchy around here?
That
We
is
talked to comedians and comedic actors.
Yeah.
And it was like, so let's talk about that time you shot the dude in the face.
In real life.
All right, so what kind of food were you not going to eat?
So,
What app do you like on your
Yeah.
cell phone?
Tell us about your clothing company.
I actually want some of those clothes, though.
I kind of,
it sounds resort casual to me.
I wanted him to say it's all monochromatic jumpsuits.
It's
It is 100%.
Did he say Gianni, but Gian me?
No. I don't think so.
What'd you hear? That's what I heard.
Gianni?
I just heard by Gianni.
Gianni Versace?
Gian me.
Like G on me.
Like she on me.
Like I got this G on me. I know what I wanted to tell you. New dream car giveaway over at 8080. In addition to the 15% off you get using code CRUNCHY, every dollar you spend gets you entered in for a chance to win a brand new twin turbo R8 plus $60,000 in cash. You do not want to miss out. Nor do you want to forget to check out SomethingCrunchy.com, where you'll find every episode or links to social media, and the Almighty Crunch Store, where you'll find all kinds of crunchy gear showing that you are a proud citizen of Crunch Nation. Join us every Friday night at 10 o'clock on 97.3 The Rattler, or find us wherever you get your podcast. This has been another episode of Something Crunchy, and as always,
Don't ever forget to live your crunchiest life.
And be crunchy to one another.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and all that crunchy good shit. All episodes can be found at somethingcrunchy.com and on all podcast platforms. Thank you for listening.
who had Frankie Pantangeli killed?
Who gives a shit?
Worth it.
Worth it. That's the rocks. It's the rocks.
It's contagious.